About this time last year, we were walking through a pretty tough trial. We were spending our Christmas season in isolation as we were navigating a medical journey that did not go as expected. Before we met back in 2016, Joseph was diagnosed with multiple myeloma.
So, multiple myeloma is a type of blood cancer. Last year in 24, the tumor started coming back. Multiple myeloma is not a curable cancer, but it can be managed. But the tumors came back last year, and they suggested doing a T cell transplant. Well, just happens that I was the 2% that had every single side effect, and what a 10-day stay should have been turned into a 5-month period in and out of the hospital. I went through neurotoxicity. I had Parkinsonian syndrome, where it's the shakes. I was very flat, zoned out, and personality changes. Where in some situations I just got ugly. It was really hard because some of that I took out on Chris and the kids, and Chris had to end up being the caretaker, not only me, but also with the kids in the home. And I'm in the hospital. I lost all my muscles, and where I couldn't even dress myself anymore. But within that, we had to maintain the hope and our faith. And I started losing that in a lot of ways. And Chris sent me a worship song, and that started helping me get back to my faith. And
Yeah, those side effects, neurotoxicity in particular, really shook me and the kids to see his personality completely change, because he's, for anybody who knows him, he's a fun-loving guy. So it was all very hard. And all of that time was spent in quarantine, all 5 months. The kids were able to continue going to school. But that was it. And there was this whole sanitization process that had to happen every day when they got home from school. And I remember one pivotal moment at the hospital when he was at his worst. And I was basically begging the doctor for answers. And she looked at me and said, I can't guarantee that he will ever be the same again. And I can't guarantee that he'll ever walk again or drive or return to work. And I just remember feeling completely crushed and defeated, and left the hospital that day in tears. But I just cried out to God the entire drive home. And I just remember God reminding me of his faithfulness, of everything that he's brought me through, everything he's brought Joseph through, how far he's brought our family. So why would he leave us now? And so I think that biblical hope is not a feeling. It is the assurance of God's promises. And he promises that he will never leave us, no matter what we're going through. Isaiah 41:10, fear not, for I am with you. I clung to that verse. And he promises that if we put our trust and our hope, our salvation in him as our Savior, that we will one day live in heaven with him, where there is no cancer, there's no divorce, and there's no suffering, because hope is Jesus. And he gives us that hope in so many ways, through his word, through his people. And my goodness, this church rallied around us, supported us in more ways than we can even count. Truly the hands and feet of Jesus. And they'd left so many meals on our front porch, notes of encouragement, gifts of encouragement.
Christmas carol.
Sing Christmas carols in our front yard, constantly checking in and praying for us. And it was so very humbling and so very inspirational, and really solidified the picture of what it looks like to be a part of a community of believers, and just how important that is. And so God continued to work miracles and brought Joseph through all of those side effects. And even though he will always be on this cancer road, right now his cancer is undetectable. and that is huge. He's brought us through so much, and we are so thankful to be back with our church family.
Yeah.
So this Christmas season will be a little extra special for our family, that we are back together celebrating our Savior, because He is the one who brought hope, and we get to share that hope with others, and that's
Brings
what it's all
healing.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.